Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wellness Day, a podcast coming to you every Wednesday here from the Jahangir Wellness Center. My name is Kavas Jahangir, here from the JWC studio, and today we have Angelina Richa. I have to read this out. She is a craniosacral therapist and somatic experience practitioner. Thank you so much for being here, Angelina. Sorry, I had to read that out. It sounds very complicated, and I know it's a therapy that we've started here, the JWC, but excited for you to be here and tell us everything about it.
Thank you for having me here, Kavas. And yes, it's not complicated, it's just very fancy.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't you make it uncomplicated for us
Yes,
as
for
soon as
sure.
possible?
I'm very, very excited to be here. First of all, I want to say that
Thank you.
because it's really, I'm happy to share that how much people hold within themselves and they're not aware of it. And through these therapies, they start to unwind and they start to come to a state of balance. So body knows what it's holding and it also knows how to heal itself. It just needs the right environment and the person
Yeah.
to hold it in safety.
Okay.
And that's what I do.
Right.
Yes.
So what is it exactly getting into? Is it like a massage type therapy? Is it more like, moving the neck around, the spine? What exactly is it?
So craniosacral therapy is a very soft, non-invasive touch. So whenever we talk about body work, people usually think body work is about massage or like you said,
Yeah,
twisting and stuff.
chiropractor type
Yes,
thing. Yeah.
exactly. Craniosacral therapy is a branch of osteopathy, which is the study of the bones, but it is a non-invasive work. So it's a biodynamic work where I work with soft touch which has deep, subtle effects on the nervous system. So, what happens is I touch certain areas of the body which involve the head, which is the cranium, which involve the last part of the spine, which is the sacrum, and the spine. So, I'm directly working with the central nervous system and the membranes and the receptors around the central nervous
Okay.
system.
So actually, literally, physically soft touch.
Yes, it's a very soft touch, as soft as I would work with a newborn baby.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that actually has some effects,
Exactly,
obviously.
exactly. I mean, so many studies have been done about craniosacral therapy. Initially, when I started craniosacral therapy 16 years ago, I think I was the first or the second one to bring it to India.
I was just going to ask you how you got into it, where
Yeah.
it comes from. Yeah.
Yeah. It comes from an osteopath called Dr. William Sutherland.
Okay.
100 years ago, he started to study the skull of the human being. So in the past, people used to think that the skull bones are infused, like they are fused. But as he started to work with them, he figured it out that each and every bone of the body and the skull, of course, has its own potency, mobility, and motility. Which means mobility is something which we can see, which we can measure, and motility is the inner movement, how the bones breathe, and how it affects the nervous system and the whole muscle of the brain.
Okay.
So that is how it started to come into being. There were so many experiments done, and now this therapy is covered under insurance in the West.
Oh, okay.
For
Wow.
India, it's very new.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of studies have been done. When I started, they used to think I'm doing a brain massage.
Yeah. Exactly. I was going to come to that. There must be that
Yeah.
concept or that myth, or people think that this is just
Yeah, it's a brain
relaxing.
massage, and brain massage, I mean, even a brain surgeon can't do it. So,
That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, so nobody can do a brain massage. But yes, it definitely works with the cerebrospinal fluid, which is washing the brain all the time and washing the nervous system, our spine. And it brings a certain level of relaxation and equilibrium. So 80% of our diseases are caused by imbalance in the nervous system.
Yeah.
Whether it is pain, whether it is emotional stuff that we are holding, whether it is anxiety, whether it is something which is off limits in the procedures of our, blood
Right.
tests or stuff like that, parameters, what we call. So what happens is that our nervous system goes for a toss. So how to bring a state of balance in a very non-invasive way and through light touch. And many people ask me, how does light touch work?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it sounds like it's, how does it work? Is something like the light touch opens up the flow of, your nervous system? How does
So
that?
what happens is, see, we are used to touch. The first thing that we learned as infants was touch.
Yeah.
When we grew up, of course, touch had its own connotations, and then we became more and more afraid of touch. But as children, as infants, touch was the first thing which was supportive of us, and our nervous system remembers that. So what happens with light touch on various parts of the body, there is something called mechanoreceptor. So our connective tissue, our fascia, has a mechanoreceptors which gets stimulated by light touch. And that cause the sympathetic nervous system tone to come down,
Yeah.
vagal tone goes up, parasympathetic system get stimulated, rest happens.
Okay.
When rest happens, healing takes place.
So it's just like a spill-on cycle effect.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's pure neurophysiology.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's neurobiology, neurophysiology.
It's not
pure-
mumbo jumbo.
No, it's not. Yeah. And I mean, what we call mumbo jumbo is what we are not able to assess or maybe not able to study.
Yeah.
I mean, what about human emotions?
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
We can't study them. Of course, I know you have something called emoscape here,
Yeah.
and you can observe them, but you still don't know where they're coming from. So are our emotions mumbo jumbo?
No, absolutely
No.
correct. Yeah.
I mean, emotions cause psychosomatic stuff. It causes
Absolutely.
anxiety,
So
it
mental.
causes stress, it causes gut issues, it causes flare-ups, it causes skin issues. Is it mumbo jumbo? Maybe. But emotion,
Mumbo jumbo is not a
mumbo jumbo is amazing
Yeah.
because that is the mystery of human being.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that is where science and spirituality meet.
Yeah, it's a lovely intersection.
Yeah, that is how it meets. And I think with all the wellness things that are coming up, and now we are in a very, very evolved society where we are open to, other therapies and which complement the medicine. So it's not
yeah.
like my work is not anti-medicine or,
yeah.
don't do this. It's not like
It's
that.
all allied. It's one.
Yes, it's complementary. You support someone. If someone is having sleepless nights, how I can bring the state of equilibrium in the nervous system so that even if they had so much pain in the daytime, I can do a little bit of pain management and they can go to sleep so that the body can rest. The lymphatic system in the brain can wash the brain and bring the spike down.
Right.
So how I suggest is that, imagine your body like on a high woofer zone. If you're a musician, I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah. So when we are listening to high music, the speakers go like this. Yeah, it's high. And then how just to bring it a tad bit down. I'm not saying that I'm doing miracles and everything is
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
treated and I'm great. No, I'm just saying, can we bring it a tad bit down so that the person can just sit back and say, I'm here. I'm feeling good. I'm okay. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, what does this typical session look like? How long does it take? What do you do? What do you look for?
So I'll tell you about both or craniosacral.
Please, yeah. Feel.
Okay. So craniosacral is a very soft touch based work, like I told you. So a person lies down fully clothed on the table and I touch various parts of the head or the neck or wherever the spine, neural networks are.
Right.
I work there and bring a state of balance by innervating into those flow of the cerebrospinal fluid by soft touch. And it makes a person unwind. It makes a person get the pain levels down. It might also bring a certain balance in the circadian cycles. It might help a little baby who has just been born out having a birth trauma or a difficult birth. They might, start latching better. Colic issues get better because the body starts to regulate itself. So I'm not correcting them. I'm not
So
fixing
you
them.
said, like, so you're balancing it out.
I am just facilitating the body to self-regulate.
Right.
So what I'm looking at is not the symptom. I'm looking at health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
that is my perspective. That's the change. Because, there was a osteopath, Dr. Andrew Still, very famous osteopath in the early 1900s. He said that disease anybody can find. You have to work in the service of health. And I think, the wellness, like whatever you are having here,
Yeah.
is also doing the same because
Absolutely. Yeah.
when someone feels uncomfortable, they come to the doctor and then we find the disease, what's going on. But if they already start taking care of what needs to be done, what the body is asking for, if they start becoming aware of what is body talking to them,
Right.
then, disease doesn't happen or they might catch it in the initial stages.
Can you tell us any examples from your sessions where you've seen results over maybe a few sessions, or by the end of a certain session? Can you give us some example that I'm sure would have had
Lots.
impact?
Yeah. So I had someone with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is an autoimmune disorder where a person is in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And it was a young mother.
A young mother.
A young mother.
Okay.
And I'm like, mothers have postpartum depression.
Yeah.
We know what, emotional zones they go through.
Right.
But fibromyalgia was something new. And nobody could find like reasons for it. And everybody's like, oh, it's stress. It's stress. Stress is an umbrella
but
term
what
we use.
exactly?
Yeah?
Such a big word.
So I was like, okay, I need to work with you. Let's see what happens. Because I had no clue what I'm going to work with her. I just knew that I had to bring her to rest. So I started working with craniosacral therapy with her. She started to feel safe. Now, when you start feeling safe, you start opening up, right? So safety is paramount for any kind of trauma resolution. So whether it is through craniosacral therapy, whether it is through somatic experiencing, a person needs to feel safe.
Yeah.
So she started to feel safe, and things started to ease off in her body, and she started to get better sleep. The baby latched well, she was fine, kind of, but the pain wouldn't go.
I see.
And then I also started doing somatic experiencing with her, which is about talking about sensations, emotions, directly working with imagery, working with behavioral patterns. And long story short,
Yeah.
the thing was that she had unconsciously braced herself so much because she was afraid of the process of childbirth.
Wow.
So that bracing stayed in the body.
Right.
So the cell memory had that bracing. So she was like, I'm locked. So the lock was there, even if
You don't
physically she
realize
was
that you're
fine.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, the reports were fine. Physically, she was fine. Craniosacral sessions were fine. Everything was flowing well. What was wrong? Somewhere unconsciously, she had braced her.
Wow.
And fibromyalgia was just showing up because the body was screaming to be open.
Yeah. So you went far deeper actually.
Exactly. It took a few sessions. I'm not saying it happened in a one
No,
or
of
two
course.
sessions. It
Yeah.
was a series of sessions which went through months. But she persevered with that.
Right.
She trusted the process. And then eventually the pain started going down. And now she's...
Incredible.
Yeah, she has a young baby and she's enjoying her...
Lovely. Well, it's lovely that you're doing stuff like that can
Yes.
open up so many
Yes.
pathways, or as you said, opens up the flow of the nervous system.
Exactly.
Or is bringing balance back to the body.
Exactly. And sometimes, sometimes people are averse to touch. I don't want to be touched. Maybe they have a trauma related to touch. There are so many things happening in the world right now. So then what do? So I make them sit down. I start with somatic experiencing work, which is about bringing awareness about how are you doing right now. Because usually when we say, hey, how are you doing? I'm fine. Okay, bye. See you later. But what is okay?
So it actually nearly sounds like a counseling kind of session.
Exactly not.
Okay.
Because what happens in counseling, it's about giving advice. You should do this, do journaling, do drawing, do this, express yourself.
Right.
That's like, you're giving tools to them
Okay.
to be self-sufficient. Here, in somatic experiencing, we go into the cause and we do not provide solutions. The solution comes from within the person.
Okay.
That's the only difference. So basically, it's about digging the wound, putting an antibiotic in it, closing the wound again, letting it heal, digging it again, letting it loose, open.
Again, not root cause.
Exactly. And then letting the answer come from the client, because everybody has their own journeys and their own conditionings, socioeconomic factors. What I may be thinking could be good for the person might not work for them.
Yeah.
So they have to find it out. So basically, what you're doing is you're building resilience in them and also making them self-dependent. So they are not coming for therapy all their life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any myths that typically come to you that need to get busted?
Lots.
Let's hear the top 2, 3.
Okay. What you just said, do I counsel people? No.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Do I massage? No. I'm not a masseur. Is it a replacement for medicine? No. It's not a replacement. It's a complement to the medicine.
absolutely.
Yeah. And the head massage example I already gave you. Yeah.
Lovely.
These are my myths mostly.
Any last words you'd like to leave us with talking about this?
Don't say last words. That sounds very scary.
Any final thoughts for today?
Yeah. So the final...
Stand corrected.
Exactly. So in somatic experiencing, we really take care of the languaging. Because what happens is language sets up the intention.
Hmm.
I cannot do it. I'm not good enough.
Hmm.
It's coming from a deep wound somewhere,
Yeah.
unconsciously. So I always mirror it back. You just said, I'm not good enough. What makes you say that? And then you're like, I don't know. I feel just anxious in my belly. And they're like, okay, let's go there. So I work with the sensation. I don't go into the story.
Right,
Because if I go into the story, it's going to re-traumatize them again. Because they're reliving the story again.
Okay.
So yes, what they are doing, languaging, mirroring them is very important. Watching them, micro movements. We watch. But it's not like I am greater than you and I'm going to face you again.
You're
It's
helping that
more about,
self-discovery process.
more about making them more aware of their own body and the way they language or they think about themselves so that they are able to find a way out for themselves.
This sounds so powerful and deep and peaceful and calm at the same time. So
Thank you. Yes, yes.
I honestly have to say I've not done this yet, but it definitely after having this conversation, I will definitely
Please, most welcome. You can try it anytime you want. I'm here in the Wellness Center.
Yeah, hopefully I will just come across after this episode and we can go do a session.
Definitely.
And I hope that it's inspired people to try it as well.
Yes, actually, until now, I was talking to Dr. Radhika just now.
Yeah.
I have never ever advertised myself. It has been word of mouth because when nothing works, people want to try everything, right? And then they come and something works. And then, something starts to unfold. And that's how my practice goes on.
Right.
So that is how it is. And final thoughts you were asking me. I want to tell people body has the capacity to heal itself.
Absolutely.
Just be aware of listening to it. It will always give you signals when you require help. Trust your intuition. Go to a person you feel safe. Work with a person you feel safe with. Go with your intelligence because body is intelligent enough. You don't need to be dependent on anyone else.
That's a lovely note to
Yes.
leave us on, Angelina. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm so happy.
Absolutely. It's been fascinating hearing all these insights
Yes.
that you've been able to share with us. So thank you once again.
You're most welcome. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you all, and we will see you next week. But before you leave, do not forget on the comments below if you have any feedback that you'd like to share, any topics that you'd like us to cover, please feel free to write in the comments below. And also do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button before you leave. Thank you and see you next week.